Remember that day when you didn't have a single thought? Yeah, neither does anyone else. We are perpetual thinkers. It's a non-stop habit. You generate about 70,000 thoughts per day. What are these thoughts all about? Are they helping you live the life that you want to live? Or are they making you feel less about yourself and others? Today we find out how you can stop overthinking and finally get your mind on your side. First, it begins with awareness. You must actually become aware of what is going on inside your head. And that sounds simple enough, but many of us never even realize that there's some negative stuff happening up there. And instead, we choose to act like everything is okay. Are you overthinking? Are you thinking negatively? Well, admit it, because otherwise you won't change a thing. Self-improvement begins with self-acceptance. When you actually make it clear to yourself that you don't like what's going on, and you begin to be aware of it, now you can start to make a real change. You can keep a thought journal, writing down your thoughts as they come up, at least the more noticeable ones. Even if they're negative, it'll help you to start to get an overview of what's happening in your mind. And after this, it'll be much easier to make the changes you want to make because you'll know what's actually going on. Secondly, use meditation. Yeah, use it. Not meditate because it's good for you and you should. Meditate because it'll actually help you get what you want. Don't be discouraged if you can't seem to stay focused in the beginning. Simply stay disciplined and continue to practice. This is one of the very best and most effective ways to beat overthinking, and it will absolutely work for you as long as you stay with it. Another way that you can train your mind quickly is by really focusing on the daily tasks and activities that you're engaged in. Being fully present and aware as you're doing them and not getting caught up by the noise in your head. When you're walking outside, breathe the air and pay attention to your environment. Don't let yourself walk around unconsciously and stuck in your own head. Even if you're doing something as simple as watching a video, actually watch the video and tune out the noise going on upstairs in the mind. That's also why it's great to go and try new things, do different activities that you've never done before, because it'll force your mind to become present, like the first time you're learning to drive a car or climbing a massive mountain, because your mind will have to engage. That really is the key right there. Forcing your mind to engage, because it usually will not engage on its own. Just because you want to be present doesn't mean that your mind is going to engage, because it's based off of whether or not it's necessary in order for you to perform. Now, thirdly, you have to separate yourself from your thoughts. This goes hand in hand with training your mind, but the only time that our thoughts can do us any real harm is when we identify with them. When we begin to think that we are the thought. That voice in your head is exactly that, a voice. You can control it, you can shape it, and when you begin to understand this, you gain massive power over it. You can use your thinking to help you be productive and get closer to your goals. But if you let it run on autopilot, it is very likely that your life won't turn out the way that you want it to. So it's very important to always steer your thoughts in the right direction. And that's why it's so important to actually know what's going on in your mind. And that's why the self-awareness was the first step. One technique that has served me extremely well over the years is that anytime I became aware of a negative thought, I would redirect it by saying, how can I change this into something that helps me instead of something that holds me back? This one simple change, done on a daily basis, has led me to a place of close to no negative thoughts. Constantly redirecting, and you really get into the habit of reshaping your thoughts and steering them in the direction that you want, you will actually feel like you're in control of what's going on. And before you know it, you are using your mind to get what you want instead of it using you and making you feel terrible about yourself and struggle. Remember that overthinking, especially if it's negative, is actually a bad habit. So by implementing these 3 keys that we've just gone over, you'll be able to become aware of your thoughts, begin to control them, and also separate yourself from the non-stop stream that goes through your head.